How's it going, YouTube? Op.poker James here. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a live play of me playing $100 spins. And then at the end, I'm going to pull out one of the interesting hands that happened during that spin and go. And we're going to analyze it as deep as we can go. So if this is the kind of content that you like, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments or on Discord how you feel about it. I would love to keep doing these kind of games because it means that I can play high stakes, it means I can learn at high stakes, and it means we can get a real deep discussion going. So, without further ado, let's see the game. Okay, we've got a game. Recognize one player as, it says possible reg, but probably almost definitely reg. And then Blooming 94, I don't know, from Mexico. Fingers crossed they're recreational, but we are playing at morning times. This is a morning hour stream, and the likelihood is that most of these games will be 2 reg, which isn't great, of course. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to be doing these videos at these times, because one tabling is just going to be a better idea, I would say. In these tougher games, I'll go for a big bet on the flop with ace queen, and we get click raised. Ouch. I'm just going to straight up fold this. There are plenty of hands that I would want to call there that make the bigger bet. I don't think that's my hand is going to be one of them. Ace 6, I am going to squeeze shove. I'm assuming and hoping that Blooming 94 is a recreational that's got too many small blind calls in their range. So it's a slight exploit. Not that amazing though. You have an ace. If you think someone's calling too wide on a small blind, it's almost always better than folding. King 7 suited. I'm going to just fold. Might be something that we can call and try and play in a heads up pot against them, but I will leave it. I don't think I want to take these super close EV spots. Jack 8 suited, we're going to raise. So yeah, the likelihood that Blooming 94 is a recreational, someone that we're trying to get in games against, is, I would say, on the higher side of things. They haven't done anything specifically that I can say, yeah, they're a recreational. Normally you need to see a showdown, or you need to see them do something really funky pre-flop or on the flop. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. The flop raise I wouldn't say is standard from my opponent when I had the ace queen. So yeah, Jack 8, I think we're gonna flat call here for once. We're trying to get in pots against this player, I think. So we'll make the call. We've hit trips, which is awesome. I'm not actually sure if I should have any kind of leading range in this spot, I have to say. Free-handed, freeway pots are not my specialty, coming from a heads-up background, but I don't think we can butcher this too much, in my opinion. Let's see. I think it's just best to raise straight away here. And if they've got a king, hopefully get the lot. So I'm looking at them thinking they're recreational. Now, how do I get the lot from a recreational is just bet a medium size all the way to the river. It'd be half pot to the river. So it's easy. It's just hard for them to find the fold button against small bets like this, consistent small bets. Whereas if I bet small on the turn or big on the river or big on the turn, and these are spots where I could end up getting folds from those hands that I really don't want to see. River card actually turned out to be very bad for us. We had the best hand until the river when it was a split. So oh well. But yeah, I'm still guessing they're a recreational, but I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll see. Ace Jack suited, can't go wrong. Whatever size I want to bet here. Could go big, could go small. We'll go small. Could check behind, I guess, but yeah, I'm just always betting, to be honest. And I think it's okay to check behind this hand. Actually, we've got showdown value. Most flush draws won't be expected to be checking the turn. So yeah, I quite like that. And then on the river, we've got a really nasty bet size. The 10 and the 6, the 7 actually completed with that quite a lot. I would presume that this small bet is just always some sort of value. So I'm going to fold that one. And then 5s against an 8 big blind shove and a 19 big blind over shove. This is very close. 6s plus easy, 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 easy. 5s, oh yeah, we're going for it, whatever. 33%, that's nice. Flopping a set is also quite nice. Good stuff. Was there anything weird about that hand? King 9 shoving, ace queen overcalling, 5s overcalling. No, I would say no. Ace jack. Yeah, I guess we're still not sure if we're playing a recreational. The only hand that was kind of odd. The first 2 hands seemed kind of odd, but they haven't done anything that we've seen for showdown to be bad. So it is possible we're playing a reg. Definitely. It is a $100 spin after all. 9-4 suited. I'm going to check behind. I'm going to fold to any bet. Haven't hit this at all. I mean, the more hands we get and the less clear mistakes they make, it's the more likely we're playing a reg, I would say. So far, we haven't seen anything weird since the early hands, so probably is a reg at this point. Queen 9, we can go for showdown. Yeah, let's go for showdown with it. Check, check. Check it all down. Nice. Getting very short now. Want to fold, please. Okay, they're limping at 5 big blinds. That's not uncommon thing for regs to do. Isn't really what a solver wants to do. When it gets down to this kind of stack size, it's nearly all push or fold. Maybe aces, kings, and a few traps, but yeah, nearly all of it. It's push or fold at that point. Queen jack will call against a shove. Shove against the limp. 2-4, we're going to fold. When we're getting this short, it's fairly simple. We got king 4, they got king 4. Fairly simple to play. If you've got a good hand, you put it in. If you don't, you don't. Oh, we got aces. Hello. Hello. It's a nice spot to be in. They've hit a pair. All right, nice. Nice, easy, fairly simple game. But there was a few hands that I want to look at. Let's have a look. All right. What we're going to do is, now that we've played this game, I'm going to find the most interesting hand that we've played. And we're going to chuck it into a solver and have a look at it. So I played, I think the ace jack hand was actually quite interesting. So how do we do ace jack? We min raised and big blind calls. On the flop we make a small bet. I'd love to look at like the kind of bet sizings we should be doing on such a board on the button versus the big blind. I would say button versus big blind is actually quite one of the more difficult spots to learn in spin and goes from a solver perspective. Really getting really solid game plan, it's quite tough. So yeah, I'd like to see that. On the turn, we decided to check behind. I would like to see what we're meant to be doing here. I think we're meant to, in general, be betting quite a lot and for a fairly decent size when the 10 pairs on the turn. But my hand specifically, I feel like it works pretty well as a check. And then on the river, against this small bet, what are we meant to be calling here? It'd be interesting to see what a solver thinks we should call. I presume it's wide, but we'll see. All right. So the software I'm going to use is called GTO Base. It's made by the people at Simple Poker. I'm so sure you've seen me use some of their products before in the past. This is basically a huge database for spin and go hands, for button versus big blind, heads up, and small blind versus big blind in freeway spin and goes. What you can do is you can upload just huge swathes of your hand histories. I think up to 75,000 hand histories a month. Or you can just put the Insta hand history. You get the hand history from something you really want to look at. So is this the one we wanted to look at? Ace Jack suited? Yes, it is. We send it in, and then it goes through the large database of pre-solved things and sees what's closest to it. So really, really useful stuff, I would say. So you can quickly look over it. So first thing I want to do is look at if I made a huge, massively minus EV play in this hand. Apparently us folding might have been a mistake on the river. But yeah, we'll look at that in a bit. Anyway, big mistakes. So us raising, obviously standard, them calling. So they should be calling 54% of the time. They should only be folding 29% of the time at 16 big blinds effective. Now, even on the $100 spins, I think a lot of people are folding too much here. I think some people are free betting a bit too much, but yeah, in general, just too much. It's interesting that a solver has a non-all-in raise size here for 4.5 big blinds. It's very unlikely many regs do that without aces and some bluffs. That's it, I would say. But yeah, they call. We had the 10-6 board. So on this board texture, we went for they went for a check, and then for us, what were we meant to do? There are plenty of bet sizes that the solver's allowed to be occurring, but Ace Jack seems to either just want to check or bet. Now, I didn't expect it to want to check that much here. I guess it's because it's got a nice, easy showdown hand, lots of traps against pro bets, I guess. But yeah, let's look at the overall strategy. Yeah, I think it's important to really look at not just the specific hand, but the overall strategy. So on the button, on this board, 16.6 big blinds deep, we are meant to be betting 80% of the time. So if you look down here, I don't know if you can see this, everybody, but checking 19.86% of the time. Now, if you're checking that much, then you're betting 80%. And the sizings being used are pretty simple. They're either using the absolute minimum or half pot. Now, I personally, on this board texture, bet in between those two sizings. I just bet 1/3 pot every single time on a board like this. Just 1/3 pot. So it's a simplification on this, for sure. This seems to want to be betting half pot a little bit more than a min bet, which is a quarter pot. But yeah, I think overall, we're not missing much EV by playing a just 1/3 pot bet or nothing or check in this spot. I'm probably checking here a little bit too often in general. I would be checking ace highs and king highs probably too often. So let's have a look at ace highs and king highs. Let's just look at those in general. So the ace highs should be betting quite often. So if you want to see how this works, down here you got check, bet 1, bet half pot, bet 3/4 pot, bet pot, or shove all in. Obviously we said that the two sizes that were used were bet half pot and bet under quarter pot. And ace highs and king highs do want to bet quite a lot. Now, if I had a hand, genuinely, if I had a hand like king queen or king jack, I probably always check those behind. If I had a hand like ace 9, ace 8, ace 7, I probably would have checked these behind very often. So it's interesting to note that I should be looking to bet these more than I have been. Yeah, so the check back range overall is under pairs, second pairs, third pairs, ace highs, king highs, and a small amount of air. When it comes to air, let's have a look. So nothings, they're going to be ones that have gut shots to them. So 9-8, 9-7, 8-7. Okay, so these are hands that I would often check back anyway. So that's good to note. All right, anyway, next street. They checked, we bet, they called. In this situation, just as an overall frequency, they are meant to be calling 41%, folding 33%, and then raising 20%-ish. Now, from my personal experience playing spins, playing the 50s and the 100s, I still think the majority of the player pool is not raising my bets enough. So I think the fold frequency is a little bit higher. I think their raise frequency is a little bit lower, and I think their call frequency is a little bit higher, I would say. So they're calling and folding more than they should be raising. That's from my personal experience, at least. So it's something important to note. I think the raises that are used overall, let's just have a look. What kind of hands do you want to be raising? So we'll pull these out. So hands like 10-5, 10-7, 10-5, 10-4, 10-3, I think are being raised a little bit less often than they should be. 10-9, 10-8, 10-7 again, I think raised a little bit less than they should be. All the other stuff, to be honest, I think is in line with the range, but when they do call, I think they're a little bit stronger than what they should be, which is important to note, I would say. Having a little bit more 10x. So when it comes to the turn, if they're going to have more 10x check, not hands that didn't check raise than normal, we do want to start adjusting how we play against the population. Even on $100 spins, we're looking for adjustments to GTO. So on this turn card is meant to be pretty good for our range, I would say. So our opponent checks and we check, but if we look at what we're meant to do here, we're still meant to be betting 60% of the time, and the sizing we mostly want to use is half pot on this turn card. So really, that's clearly not a bad turn if you're still betting 60% of the time. Kind of hands that you're checking behind are meant to be low pairs, ace highs and king highs, things that want to try and get to showdown, because on a paired board, ace highs and king highs do have showdown value for sure. So yeah, that makes sense why those are checking back. When it comes to nothing hands, let's have a look again. What kind of nothing hands, what are they doing there? Again, it's the 9-8, 9-7, 8-7 type hands that are checking behind. And you got position, so you can check behind. If you hit, that's great. If you miss, you can still end up bluffing them. So I would say that clearly they've got a lot of bluffs in the range still. So right, hands like Queen 9 suited, so Queen 9 of hearts, Queen 9 of diamonds, Queen 9 of clubs, they're all still betting here. Same with Queen 8, same with Queen 7. So a lot of the trashy type hands that haven't hit, they're still betting on this turn card just because it's good for us and our range. Now, we did say that our opponents are more likely to have 10x in their range because the lower 10s, I think most players aren't check raising them when they should be. So we do want to change our strategy a little bit, I would say. Let's just bring it all up again. So I would be looking at how would I change my range here? So ace highs and king highs, yeah, I still would check those behind. I wouldn't be betting them, especially if I'm trying to bluff bet with them. I would be more trying to get to showdown with those hands. The hands like Queen 7 suited, queen 8 suited, that I might give them up on a turn like this. I probably wouldn't, actually. I'll probably keep betting. I guess these kind of 6x hands is where I'd change the most strategy wise. So ace 6 suited, king 6 suited, queen 6 suited. Yeah, ace 6 and king 6 I'd still bet. Ace 6 off I'd still bet. But if we have hands like queen 6 suited, 9 6 suited, 8 6 suited, 7 6, I would check all those hands behind and call river bets instead. I just don't want to be building the pot up. So let's say we do bet 9-6, right? We bet, let's say we bet small with 9-6 for value, and our opponent has the 10 and now raises us, right? So let's say they've got 10-5 suited, fairly standard for them to have it. Let's say they raise us to 4.5 big blinds, so they just make a small raise against us. Now with our 9-6 and 8-6, we're meant to be calling here, right? And that's why I don't like making that play with those hands. So a small adjustment there, not a massive one, but yeah, still all good. So yeah, they check and we check behind. So this is another example of my exact hand, ace jack of spades. I do like checking it back. I think that's the right play. Just because of our hand having good showdown value. I mean, apparently betting half pot is all good as well, but I'm probably always checking here, and I think I'm fine with that. On the river, they bet quite small, which is what they should be doing apparently. They should be doing lots of blocker type bets. Once we've checked behind on the turn, is very unlikely we've got a monster hand, unless we've rivered the straight with 9-8. That's the only real monster type hand we have there. So it does make sense why you'd make the blocker sizings. Now what is interesting is our hand is either meant to shove, cool, or fold. Very similar EVs in all three. Folding being the worst. Now I went for the fold because they did, yeah, because I don't expect them to have any bluffs there. I just don't expect any bluffs. The 7 hits too well, I would say. I think hands like maybe 4-5 suited, hands like that, if they're still in 4-5 spades and stuff like that, I guess those kind of hands can be bluffs, but I think they would in general use a bigger sizing in general. So I make a small exploit fold, I would say. I'm okay with it, but yeah, apparently I am meant to call or raise. Do I want to raise here? Really, no, I don't. Hang on, I'll show you why. Let's say we do raise. Let's say we do raise. We're meant to be raising about 30% of the time for all-in sizing. Something I probably don't do. But my opponent is meant to be calling here if we shoved with any 10, any 6, any trips, any second pair, any 7x, most 6x's, I think. And then 2x. What about the 2x's? The 2x's they're meant to fold, that they block bet. And obviously anything worse, they meant to fold. Yeah, how do I think they would change from this strategy? I would expect them to be honest, I actually think they would expect to play in this way. I kind of expected the solver to want to fold some more 6x type holdings than it does. I thought maybe if it's got 6-4, 6-3, stuff like this, they would want to fold the hand, but apparently that's not right. So therefore I think I think our opponents are going to play the right way, so maybe I should be shoving. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's definitely something I don't do enough. We found a clear and obvious error in my plays here. We're meant to be shoving here about 30% of the time. So let's have a look at what kind of hands are meant to be shoving. Now, obviously, if we've got quads, we shove. If we've got a full house, we shove. We've got straight, we shove. Trips, we shove. Overpair, we shove. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting. Already at overpair, we shove because we're expecting our opponent to call with a 6 and 7x. If they don't call with those hands, it's not a shove. Simple. If they don't call with those hands, then we put loads and loads of bluffs in there. Under pair, we're meant to shove under pair. Okay, what does this mean? Just want to see what that means. Under pair. Okay, it's just something that we never really have. I'll just put no weight. We're meant to every now and again have 9s and 8s, and then we're shoving those. That's going to be for value because 7x and 6x are meant to call against the shove. But anyway, that's just a non-frequency thing. When it comes to second pair, we got 9-7, we got 8-7. All the 7x's that we hit on the river, we're meant to be raising them as a shove, expecting 6x to call. Now, is that really going to happen? I would say no. I would say this is a bit crazy for me. Calling actually has quite a lot less EV if you're playing against the perfect player, so that's quite a big difference. A whole big blind's worth of difference. Very interesting. Whoa, got to be super aggro here. Wow. Okay. Yeah, good to know. I guess good to know. Third pairs, 6x, obviously you want to be calling because if you shove in these spots, everything better than you is meant to call, everything worse than you is meant to fold. Bad spot to be raising, I would say. Weak pairs, so pocket fives, call, same thing. Ace highs, calling, a lot of calling. Our ace jack of spades liked shoving though. Specifically ace jack of spades liked shoving. And it's probably just because we're blocking a few missed flush draws that have part of their bluffing range, so now we're just trying to get rid of the weak value range. That's my guess. I don't know. I haven't really thought that much about it. But yeah, mostly a call with the ace highs. What about king highs? Mostly folding. So yeah, call all the ace highs, fold all the king highs. That's going to be a fairly standard play. When it comes to when we have nothing, half the time we're meant to be shoving and half the time we're meant to be folding. So we're meant to be shoving half the time when we haven't got anything as a bluff. The ones that we want to use is pretty clear are the ones that have 8 and 9x in the range because we want to represent the straight, right? That's checked back on the turn and hit on the river. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Anyway, yeah, quite a lot learned there, I would say, especially about the aggressiveness that we can show against block bets on the river. I think for the most part, most players don't know how to deal with block bets. We went for the fold. I thought it was a good play. Now that looking at it, I think we went for the wrong play there. I think I should have either called or shoved. Shoving just still seems crazy to me, but we gotta start like leveling up our game, being more aggressive, putting people in more tough spots, and that's what we're gonna try and do. So if you liked this video, please give it a like. Please hit the subscribe button. If you want more of this content, please let me know if you like it. I'm enjoying doing this stuff. It means that I can learn. Hopefully you can learn, and I can play some high stakes as well, which is fun. So yeah. I'll see you in the next video. I think I would try and do something similar to this. Peace.